Can saffron really treat ADHD?
Saffron extract. It's known for its vibrant hue and its unique flavor. But it isn't just a spice for the kitchen.
What if a spice, yes, that red golden saffron you know from cooking, could rival prescription medications for mood or focus? What if something natural, plant-derived, had comparable effects to Ritalin or antidepressants, but with far fewer side effects? Scientists are now seriously studying saffron extracts for depression, anxiety, focus, ADHD. And so today we are going to dive into that research, what works, what's hype, and whether saffron deserves a place on your mental health shelf. So what is saffron and why do scientists care? Saffron comes from the stigmas of a crocus flower. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, Crocus sativus. Its main bioactive compounds include crocin and quercetin, as well as a few others. These compounds are believed to underlie many of its health effects. Research is suggesting that saffron's mechanisms may include antioxidant as well as anti-inflammatory and neuroprotective effects. In addition to this, saffron is influencing brain chemistry, potentially modulating neurotransmitters implicated in mood, focus, and stress regulation. And so this is super encouraging, you guys. And so I want to talk a little bit about the research on depression, mood, and well-being. A large body of randomized controlled trials, often referred to as RCTs, and meta-analysis suggests that saffron can significantly reduce depressive symptoms compared with placebo. And in many trials, they perform on par with conventional antidepressants like SSRIs, okay, for mild to moderate depression. So for instance, one comprehensive meta-analysis found saffron had a large effect size versus placebo for depression and anxiety. And all of these are in medical journals, you guys, that you can find online. Another review of clinical evidence concluded saffron's effectiveness is actually comparable to some antidepressant medications, but with fewer and milder side effects. Additional benefits beyond mood. Some clinical studies are reporting improvements in sleep quality, stress resilience, and overall well-being. This is in participants receiving saffron extract for several weeks. Another thing I want to point out is that these long-term trials, some were lasting 16 to 52 weeks, they were suggesting saffron is generally well tolerated with no serious adverse effects reported. A significant contrast to many antidepressants that are flooding the market. These often carry risk profiles for side effects. So in short, many people with mild to moderate depression or chronic low mood, saffron is not just a nice spice, it actually performs like an antidepressant, yet carries far lower risk. I personally have multiple friends who have children that they feel like are just a little bit depressed. They don't want to put them on an antidepressant, so this would be a great alternative to trying this to see if this works for children because of the far lower risk involved. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to encourage people to get off their medication, but it's definitely worth looking into. Now let's look at the emerging research for ADHD. They're going to look at saffron versus Ritalin. So while most saffron research has been focused more on mood disorders, starting in the late 2010s, early 2020s, a number of clinical studies have examined saffron for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, as well as just attention focus problems. So a key study compared saffron extract to methylphenidate, which is Ritalin, in children and adolescents with ADHD. They used both objective tests and pen and paper rating scales. The study concluded that overall efficacy of saffron was comparable to methylphenidate. This also is awesome news. So more specifically, saffron was reported to be more effective for hyperactivity, impulsivity symptoms, whereas methylphenidate was somewhat better for inattention. But overall, the two treatments performed similarly. Another interesting thing I want to point out, the saffron treated group also experienced improved sleep, more hours of sleep, easier falling asleep compared to methylphenidate. This is a common problem for stimulant use. A lot of people that are on these stimulants really struggle with falling asleep and then staying asleep. As of 2023-2024 review of clinical evidence, Saffron extracts are considered promising for ADHD and cognitive issues with good tolerance and low side effect profile. And you guys, if you know anything about ADHD stimulants, a lot of people cannot take these medications. They have way too many side effects. Some people don't struggle with it, but some do. And so, like I said, this could be a great alternative for someone who maybe struggles with a stimulant. So yes, Saffron, at least in the early studies, has shown results comparable to Ritalin in improving ADHD symptoms. But unlike Ritalin, Saffron brings additional mood, sleep, and neuroprotective benefits with far fewer side effects. This is making it especially attractive for those seeking a gentler, more holistic option. Real quick, I think I forgot to mention that the dosing for the ADHD trials, they actually did 20 to 30 milligrams per day. I believe they ran it for 4 to 6 weeks. They are getting feedback. I've seen so much online where some people are noticing it within a few days, the changes. Obviously, be consistent. Everybody is different, but generally very well tolerated, no serious adverse events reported with this. I also want to touch on a few other studies that have been done on this, and it's just awesome, you guys. Neuroprotection and cognitive health. Review studies are suggesting that saffron may protect brain health, support cognition, and even offer benefits related to age-related cognitive decline or neurodegenerative risk contexts. Another study was done on sleep and stress resilience, and some trials have shown that saffron supplementation improves sleep quality, helps lower stress reactivity, and can actually blunt the physiological stress responses. Another study looked at anxiety, emotional regulation, and well-being. This is beyond depression. Saffron has shown promise for anxiety reduction, improved mood, stability, and enhanced emotional resilience, potentially helpful even for people who do not meet the full diagnostic criteria of depression. One more study here. Overall safety and low side effect profile. Across dozens of randomized trials spanning from 4 to 48 weeks, saffron has consistently shown good tolerability, far fewer side effects than many conventional psychoactive medications out there. So saffron isn't just about depression or ADHD. It may be a multi-system brain and mood tonic, supporting focus, emotional balance, sleep, cognition, and long-term brain health. While the data on this is encouraging, especially compared to the side effect baggage of many pharmaceuticals out there, saffron isn't a magic bullet, but it is a promising alternative. But more research is being done on this, and clinical trials will continue to take place on saffron. So some practical guidance, takeaways, what to know if you decide to try it. Based on clinical trials, remember 20 to 30 milligrams a day. I have read that they are saying that you could do that twice a day. Trial durations typically 6 to 8 weeks for ADHD mood improvement. Some longer, some have gone up to 48 weeks in the cognitive health studies. Suggested approach, if you try it, commit to 6 to 8 weeks. Monitor your symptoms, your mood, your focus, your sleep, your stress. Combine that with healthy lifestyle habits and see what happens. Because saffron appears to have low risk of side effects, this is obviously something that could be considered for people who struggle with prescription stimulants or antidepressants. But always use standardized extracts, start with lower doses if needed, and ideally discuss this with your licensed healthcare provider before replacing or adding to any existing maybe pharmaceuticals that you're taking. So saffron, it's a spice long valued for color, its aroma. It's emerged in modern science. I am super excited about this. While more research is being needed, early data shows that it is performing close to Ritalin for ADHD symptoms, comparable to antidepressants for depression with fewer drawbacks. So if you're exploring natural, gentle approaches for mental wellness, saffron might just be something you need to take a look at. I love hearing from you guys, so if you or your family are trying this and have had success with this, please reach out. Until next time.